Hey everybody, it's Robot here from Vespa Motorsport here in San Diego for a dealership for all things Vespa, whether you're looking for spare parts, parts for your tune-up, accessories, to equip your scooter, scooterwest.com. Check us out. All right, let's get on to the meat. We got the new 2020 GTS 300 Super Sport equipped with the all-new HPE motor that makes about 20% more power than the outgoing model from 2019. I want to go over all the features, the quirks, and get out on the road, show you how this rides versus the older outgoing model. Let's jump right into it. So the GTS 300 has now been on the market for over 9 years. This is the third major revision of the GTS 300. I want to go over some of the fun stuff on this scooter. Starting on the front, it's got the same style wheels they've been using for several years, but in a gloss black finish. Looks pretty sharp with a S Super Sport decal on the front. Moving on up, the complete leg shield of this scooter has been redesigned. As all other Vespas, this is all metal. If you're unfamiliar with the Vespa, it's the only new scooter out there that's a modern scooter that has an all metal chassis. They redesigned the horn cover. The front kind of comes out. It matches the similar style of the 946, the Sprint, and Primavera, the new ones, that is. Moving on up, they now have an LED headlight. Looks pretty sharp with the chrome bezel, you know, reminiscent of the old Vespas. High beam, low beam. I could attest the headlight works pretty good out on the road at night, along with looking pretty sharp. You got the basic instruments on this scooter. You got the speedometer, trip odometer, clock, fuel gauge, various idiot lights as I like to call them for the ABS, check engine, low oil pressure, over temp, etc., etc., etc. If you go to the Super Tech model, which isn't out in the United States yet, it comes with a TFT color LCD display that has more functions available. Moving on to the controls, you got the horn, turn signals, high beam, low beam. You can see the headlight does not come on until you start the scooter. That's a feature, kind of keeps the battery from draining. Moving on to this side, this button turns the traction control system that's been found on GTS's 2015 and later. They've added a traction control system. Let you know the new traction control on the 2020 is a little smoother than the older outgoing models. So that's a pleasant addition, because the early models, wasn't too into the traction control. I'll tell you, I don't know, I like the ride spirited. I prefer to turn it off, but it's definitely a good safety feature. ABS brakes, front and rear, pretty much everything that's larger displacement now in 2019-20 model years pretty much has ABS, kind of as part of the European requirements, kind of passes over to the United States. Kill switch, start button, mode cycles between your trip odometer, the 2 trip odometers, and the total mileage on the scooter. Plus you can set the clock. Moving down below, your key switch, it's got several positions. You pull the key out in the center 12 o'clock position. Would you say that's 2 o'clock? Now you could push it in, open the glove box. Glove box action's very nice. You got a USB charging jack in here, so you put your mobile phone in there. It's got emergency release. I have a lot of customers don't know about this. If you need to open the seat and the battery's dead, this little lever right here opens up your seat. Pleasant surprise, there's still a toolkit in here to adjust your shocks, take the battery cover off, etc., etc. Coolant reservoirs located under that cover. I'm not going to take it apart. You can shut the glove box. Next position turns the ignition on. And this button right here, when it's in the second position, you can open up your seat along with a key fob that will open up the seats or flash the lights. I don't know why, but they added that feature. All the way over to the 9 o'clock position, you can see the handlebars are turned to the left, locks the whole scooter down. Can't open the seat, everything's locked down. Walk away from it. It's got the immobilizer system, as Vespas have always had on the more deluxe models. So there's a chip in this key. You'll need to, you can either clone these keys or buy extra keys and program them with the master red or kind of a burgundy colored key that that's included with a scooter. Moving down here, battery cover, the floorboards for your feet, kind of the traditional Vespa style, the 3 rubber strips. Got the passenger pegs, which are unchanged. Moving down to the back, you could see these have changed. They got a little scoop right here. Super Sport trim includes the sticker kit on this titanium finish. Mufflers slightly restyled. Rear tire, this is a new one. Access the dipstick right here. Take care not to burn yourself on a hot exhaust, but it's right there. If you watch some of my other videos on doing a tune-up on this bike, I'll show how to check the oil, first service, etc. Many, many more videos coming on this new model. It's exciting. Check out the taillight. Looks pretty sharp. It's got the chrome bezel reminiscent of the classic taillights. Very sharp looking LED ring on there. And if you have an older model, don't worry, we'll have you covered. We'll have retrofits for all these new products on here. Brake light, the LED license plate light. It's got a reflector down here to meet the US standards. You can actually remove it if you wanted to. That's kind of a good idea to leave a rear reflector in my eyes. So on the left side, you can see the transmission cover has been completely redesigned. If you looked at all the prior models, pretty sharp looking. I like the new cover look. The engine's quieter because they have several layers of covering over the transmission. A lot of the noise on these scooters comes from the dry transmission. They got a dry clutch, a rubber dry belt if you're not familiar with the typical automatic scooter. But that's all been redesigned. Next video that I'm going to come out with is the 75 changes that they've made to this bike for the 2020 HPE edition. So it's got the center stand. That's one thing that's been changed for the better. It's a larger footprint center stand, easier to get up on the, up on the stand. I tend to like using the center stand, but there's also a side stand. Has a safety interlock switch, so you can't start the scooter to kick it down. Carefully set it down. Some customers prefer to use the side stand, which is more in line with typical motorcycles, using mostly your side stand. And looking at the glove box, it's been redesigned for the new front end. It's got this really nice looking radiator vents on it. Fortunately, that part's retrofittable if you have an older bike. Again, I'll cover all the different various part numbers of all these new goodies found on the new GTS that fit the older bikes. I've already kind of dug into this bike, tore one down, been having fun with it. So for 2020, they've updated the seat. Fortunately, it's more comfortable for somebody my size. What am I, 5'8", 5'9", something like that. It goes back further and is a little bit lower, is what I noticed. Kind of a nice looking seat. You can put the seat on 2015 and later GTSs. We'll have that spare part for you. With the remote or the button right next to the key, you can hold that, pop the seat electronically. Underneath the seat has a spot for the seat cover that's no longer included. Part number's right on the screen if you want to order that. It's a nice rain cover, kind of keeps the moisture off the seat or the sun off the seat. It's got the generously sized seat bucket that was updated in 2015, so it's a little larger, but keep in mind that most full-size helmets still don't fit. It's ideal for a single 3/4 helmet or a pair of half helmets will fit just fine. I think there are some smaller shelled full faces that will fit, just none that I know of. Pull the bucket out, kind of show you the magic underneath the seat. The beauty of a Vespa, you can see the steel frame, very easy to access for service. I love servicing these things over many of the other brands and even Piaggio products where sometimes they're pretty difficult to service. They've done a lot of updates to the engine that I think will improve the reliability. Of course, time will tell. It's got a new ECU, new intake manifold. The head's been completely redesigned. I can go on forever, but that's the next video that I'll go over all the tech that's changed on this motor. But there you go, there's a motor, how you access it. Moving on to the fuel. Same, around 2-gallon gas tank, whatever it is, 11, 12 liters, something like that. I think it holds something like that. We'll have to see if the fuel economy is a little bit better on this new one. They claim that it's a little bit better. They redesigned this cover with a drain that has a hose that goes underneath the frame. Sometimes these are pretty difficult to fill up the fuel, and if it leaks out, it will catch it, or some of it, you know, some of the fuel, and keep it from going in your bucket. Little trick, if you haven't seen it, I like to do when I fill up, just put the cap right there. So if it overflows, gasoline is not going to affect the paint finish on this, but it's not likely to get on your jacket or whatever you have underneath your seat. Grab rail, it's been restyled on the 2020 Touring Editions and the GTS. They have the folding rear rack that's more functional. You can put the top case. If you want to put a top case on the Supers or Super Sport trim, you need to buy the flat rack. And we'll soon have all the colors of the top cases for the 2020s. So for the 2020 GTS HPE, they have 5 different flavors of this scooter. The one I'm demonstrating here is the Super Sport. Comes in the regular Super that costs $71.99 retail and comes in 4 different colors. Comes in gloss yellow, a gloss red that's been referred to as dragon red, been a long time color for the Vespa lineup. You got the Monte Bianco white, which is just a solid white color, very popular. White's pretty timeless. A lot of my scooters are white. I don't know if you call it boring, but it's just a good all-around color. Gloss black, and that's in the Super range. In the Super Sport range, this titanium finish, along with a new metallic blue that has a matte clear coat, much like this titanium. That's in the Super Sport. Runs $72.99 for both the Super Sports. On to the standard GTS range. GTS range runs $71.99. Comes in a metallic dark blue, a light seafoam greenish blue, along with the Dolomite gray, which is a grayish blue color that's been with the Vespa lineup for several years. On to the special editions. We have the Yacht Club that is also carried over for 2020. Yacht Club is a Monte Bianco white scooter with blue trim. So all the rubber bits, the seat, they're in blue. Not sure why they came out with the Yacht Club edition. We've had some demand for it. Much like a Touring, comes with a rear rack as well. The Vespa GTS Note, which is pretty much a Super Sport with many black pieces. You can see my 2019 video for the Note, pretty much a carryover to the 2020 model year with the updated motor, black leg shield trim, and many other black parts. Plus you could take a little further and put a lot of our black accessories on it. And new for 2020, the metallic forest green looks pretty sharp in the Vespa GTS Touring. The Touring Edition includes the windshield and the folding rear rack that runs $72.99. And not quite out yet, but we have the Vespa GTS Super Tech. And the Super Tech comes in one of my favorite colors, which is a solid gray in gloss. And it runs $77.49, so it's quite a price jump, but includes the LCD instrumentation that has additional functions, shows the outside temperature, a lot more connectivity with your smartphone, which kind of needless to say, I don't know how useful it is, and it also includes navigation. Let you know how it works out once I see one. The screen looks pretty good otherwise. Some people love the screen, some people like the classic dashboard. And not quite out, I would say it's about 6 months off. Right now we're in, pretty much May 2019 is the Stagione. And it comes in the same gray as the Super Tech, but with a flat finish clear coat. So it's like a solid gray color with a flat clear coat. We'll have the 6 on it, the GTV style trim with the low headlight, Faro Basso style. So Alex and I, we both weigh pretty close to the same, have both the scooters all set up pretty much identical, just in their stock trim. Tires are air up the same. This being a 2019 without the HPE motor, the prior one First of all, very important, we're going to turn the traction control off. So hold the ASR button until your ASR light comes solid, and we're going to do that on both scooters. Because one thing about these scooters, they accelerate better without the traction control on. And when that light's on, indicates your traction control is off. So nice and easy to do. On pretty much 2018 and later, they added the button where you can easily turn the traction control off. All right, let's get out in the street. So as you can see in the off-the-line test against a stock 2019 GTS 300 pre-HPE engine, you can see this scooter has an advantage. It's not much of an advantage, but it's a noticeable advantage. Like they say, it's about 20% more power. You could check out my dyno shootout that will be posted soon. That's why you should subscribe to our channel so you can see all the new videos, especially pertaining to this bike, coming out and get the notification for it. I would say 0 to 60 time, it's about 8.5 seconds, about what this scooter does it, versus the old scooter, which is a solid 9-second 0 to 60 time. 0 to 30, right there, about 3.5 seconds, maybe 4. And that's on flat level ground. Again, the traction control system is turned off. It tends to slow them down a little bit when you do full throttle runs with these scooters with the traction control on. Of course, the traction control is there if you're riding in the rain or just general day-to-day riding. It's probably going to save your hide. Go around a turn, a little bit of sand, you're on the throttle, it's going to limit the engine output, might help you out. On the highway, it's got pretty much identical top speed as all the GTSs. Right there, 82 miles an hour. The speedometer is a little optimistic, as it always has been on the Vespas, around 5 to 10 miles an hour faster indicated versus what you're going. Have customers all the time, yeah, my GTS does 90. I said, nope, that's 82 miles an hour on the perfect GTS, where nothing's worn out in the transmission or engine. They hit 82, they have a rev limiter that stops it. Of course, we have all sorts of Malossi and Polini goodies to get past that, make these scooters do another 5 to 8 miles an hour faster, and definitely quicker off the line. If you got the older GTS 300, you put the Malossi goodies on there, it's definitely gonna be a little quicker than this HPE, but you gotta keep in mind, when it's engineered by Piaggio with the new HPE engine, they've spent countless hours testing the durability of these engines. You know, obviously time will tell if there's warranty claims on this engine or if it has problems. It's got larger valves in the engine, among a bunch of other things that make it a little quicker and more efficient. So that pretty much summarizes my quick review of the GTS 300 Super Sport HPE for 2020. Pretty much a brand new model. I know people sometimes expect more out of this bike. It's been a very popular seller here in the United States. Sometimes it makes sense not to make drastic changes to something that's already proven and popular. It's pretty much similar frame, everything starting out with the GT200 back in 2006. It's a lot of the architectures carry over to this latest 2020 model. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Hit the little bell if you want notifications. We have well over 400 videos, 50,000 subscribers as of May 2019. Always helps out our channel by subscribing. If you're looking for accessories, parts, again, scooterwest.com for everything Vespa. We got you covered. No one else here in North America has as much as we do for these modern Vespas. Or if you got an old Vespa and checking out new ones, yeah, it's a good addition. I got lots of classic Vespas. I love the new ones equally as well. And I may get one of the new 2020s to add to my fleet of Vespas. Until next time, Robot here, Vespa Motorsport, scooterwest.com. Follow us on Instagram, Vespa Motorsport. Follow us Facebook, Vespa Motorsport. Follow me on Instagram, Robot Vespa. Peace.